Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, we super solid.
We
So
sound good? Okay.
yeah, we sound on point.
All right, then. Radio vibes.
All right, so look, Scratchin the Servers podcast. Man, got Dimplez in the building. Definitely appreciate you pulling up to do this.
Anytime.
Perfect. So, I mean, for people who don't know, give us what exactly would you say your job description is?
I am a self-proclaimed digital architect. So whether it is helping brands, artists, talent, whatever, take their product and market it digitally, that's what I do best.
And then so with that, was that like always the game plan? Did you go to school for that? Was it like what's the background?
No, so I did not go to school for this. I'm gonna be real with you. I actually went to school for physical therapy. I'm licensed in 2 states. You know, Nigerians love degrees. But during college, during undergrad, actually my last few years of undergrad, I started web design and graphic design. And one of the earlier sites that I got to work on was like InFlex We Trust. Just the coding and moving that around. And then I was just kind of like, hey, I can actually make real money from this. I'm going to keep going to school, but I can make real money on this internet thing. And digital marketing wasn't necessarily a vertical that existed quite yet. It actually hasn't existed but for like 4 or 5 years. But I kind of found my lane in that web, digital, graphic space, was a blogger, was a publicist, kept parlaying that into different things, building up clients, building up a network, building up a business acumen, and now like it's
so wait, so you fast forwarding through a lot of the things, you like building up clients. So let's rewind. So you say you started doing this stuff for InFlex We Trust. What were you doing over there?
With them, my task was moving their website servers. So I don't know if you are familiar with Flunkmaster Flex in the way that they were posting back in the day, but he would post anything from 20 to 40 posts a day.
Oh, wow.
Right. So my role was moving this massive site to a virtual private network, like a VPN. And like, it's oddly enough, I got a call and it was like, hey, do you know how to do this? And I was like, yeah. I didn't know how to do it.
He's like, I'm going to figure it out.
I was like, I'm going to figure it out. But like I've always been that type of resourceful person where it's like, I will lose sleep for days until I figure this out. I will comb every archive, every message board, every whatever until I figure this out. So that was one big project where I was like, no, I can make really big money from this. But then there were a couple of other projects where it was like building sites, or like with Hard Knock TV, moving their site off of the MTV servers to WordPress. And nobody really knew how WordPress worked. But I spent 96 hours without sleeps figuring it out.
That work on the back end and kind of figure out how everything.
So everything was kind of like that self-education of like, this is how this works. And I think that's always been like my saving grace. I've always taken the time. Example, a new app can launch tomorrow. I'm the girl who's going to read the terms of service.
Yeah, to figure it out.
I'm going to actually read the instruction manual.
Yeah. So
I might think it's a waste of time, but I'll read it.
So with like a lot of the learning as far as the WordPress stuff or the website stuff, was some of that learning via YouTube, or like where were you getting this knowledge from to figure out how to do these certain things?
So a lot of it was Reddit.
A
lot of it came from like trial and error with like my MySpace HTML coding, because you know we're all coders if you had a MySpace back in the day. And then the other thing was like YouTube. I spent a lot of time in Dreamweaver looking at CSS cascading scale, which is what WordPress is built on. And just going through and tweaking stuff and breaking things and trying to figure out how to fix it and making, before I break it, I would save like 8 different versions of the actual file. So if I did break it, I could just reinstall
then just go back.
And like I spent weeks on end doing that, like building a WordPress site from scratch, which was kind of annoying. But like, it's great.
I mean, it paid off, clearly.
Exactly. But I don't even web design anymore.
But you have that knowledge of how.
Exactly. So like that, graphics, all of that, Illustrator, Photoshop, Lightroom, Dreamweaver, that whole Adobe Creative Suite, I know how to use in a way most professionals don't right now. But it's because I had to. Like, that's how I got my start.
You're pretty much a problem solver. Like, they say, like, oh, we need to...
I'm the Olivia Pope of the internet.
Okay. That's a good way to put it. It's like, all right, let me come in and save the day real quick.
What you need?
Man, okay, so from the joints like InFlex We Trust, and then where do we move from there? Like going further.
Okay, so I think probably the next like pivotal moment to keep in mind would probably have been like my work with the smoking section.
Okay.
And that was more so on the graphic end. because I don't know if you're familiar with John Gotti. His visual eye is different.
Okay.
He may not know how to use Photoshop, but he gets it like on a whole different level. So I was responsible for making like a lot of the graphics as it was to relate to their editorial, because the smoking section was putting out like the hardest hitting editorial every day. And that was where I spent a lot of my time doing that. But my passion was in graphics. It was just something I knew how to do.
Okay.
So when it came to like festival season, South by Southwest, A3C, Gotti's like, run with it. Like, you want to do this? Run. Like,
and speaking of South by Southwest, that's where we first met.
That is where we first met. I booked you for my showcase.
Indeed. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I thought about that. I was like, hey.
Like, that's literally how we met. But like, that's like the whole thing. He was like, hey, South by's giving me the stage. You want to do it? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, bet. Run it. Let me know when you're done. But like, just even having like someone who was a little bit more seasoned than I empower me to be able to do what it was that I wanted to do, and know that he had my back. That was great. There have been times where like, I think with Gotti where I was trying to put on something like for A3C or whatever, and something went left, and he's big brothered the situation. Like, that's an extension of me. Don't play with her. Like, and it's always good to have that kind of covering in this industry, because a lot of times you feel like you're on your own. But those moments helped shape me into the executive that I am today. Okay. Because they allowed me to make mistakes in a safe space, which I don't think a lot of people are able to do now. Like, I know like some of like the earlier shows that I used to book, because shows weren't my expertise. I could tell you what talent should go where. I could time plan. I could say, hey, we should do this at this time, whatever. But my relationships weren't that strong, and I wasn't that experienced and experiential. Okay. Right? But like, having someone who had your back, or having a platform that had your back, was different. It empowered you to make those mistakes, but do great. Yeah. And that's what I did.
Okay. Nice. So,
thanks.
All right, let's see how we moving from there, because I feel like there's definitely a lot of pieces to it, and I want to kind of give like a chronological breakdown as far as for everything. So, why you looking
prior
like that?
to InFlex We Trust, because
I missed something. Let's bring it back. Rewind.
Prior to InFlex We Trust, I had my little blogging site, and I was blogging. Okay. Right. This is before I bought my domain, and a lot of my articles were being syndicated, because this is back when Global Grind was a syndicator. Okay. Where they would take articles from different websites and put it on one big aggregate, and like, people would come to Global Grind and read your article. So like, that happened a lot. And in that time, I remember I was going out and I was actually trying to get interviews. So like, Big Sean was one of the earlier artists I interviewed. B Major was an interview that never happened. But B Major wound up being my first publicity client. Yeah, okay. So like, it was one of those situations where like, I was chasing him down for 4 weeks. And like, his manager, Diesel, I'm still mad.
I'll make sure I tag him on this.
Shout out to Diesel. But like, I was chasing him down for like 4 weeks. Like, hey, can we set up this interview? And he's like, yeah. And it never happened. And then I forget what show it was. Actually, no, I remember what show it was that happened. 2009, J. Cole released Sideline Story. Okay. Right? You remember that? His first debut album? Something like that. I don't remember. I don't believe that was the exact year. We have to double fact check the year.
We'll fact check.
Fact check the year. Yeah. J. Cole released Sideline Story, right? Okay. And I'm a blogger, right? Meet J. Cole, meet his whole team, meet Mike Shaw. Shout out to them. Cool. I go to Target. J. Cole's Sideline Story technically doesn't drop until the following week. I go to Target. I go, hey, J. Cole's in town today. Do you guys have the Sideline Story? Target employees like, no, we don't. And I'm like, check the back.
Oh, finesse. The
they check the back. And they put the Sideline Story on shelves a week early. So I take the album to the concert, and there's actually a video of this still on YouTube. And it's like J. Cole receiving his CD for the first time at a show in Scottsdale, Arizona. And the footage, it says Miss Dimplez on the side.
Dang. That's hard.
Like, that was like the start. Everyone's like, who is this girl in Arizona that just got the J. Cole album a week early and captured J. Cole receiving his album a week early?
That's crazy.
Right. So that was really the start. B was really the start. Flex was a moment. Okay. Smoking Section was another moment, because it was a pivot. It went from, hey, I'm blogging, capturing, creating content, to no, I can really build the framework behind this. Okay. Right? Like, okay, No, I can really build the framework behind the moment, or I can really build like a tastemakers brunch or whatever we had at A3C, or Hoop and Hang. I can help you guys run the plays on this event, which was that 3-on-3 tournament with like the athletes and media and whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, bet. That was like the moment to pivot. After that, still working with B, picked up a few other clients, moved to LA.
Okay, so was it the move to LA was because you had these clients and they were based there, or like you just knew entertainment wise I need to be in LA?
Entertainment wise, I had to be in LA.
Okay.
Because there's no industry in Arizona.
I feel you.
And then I was also in Arizona for school, so it was like I was done with school.
Okay, so you were done. You was like, all right.
I was done with college, done with grad school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I aside from going to go get my doctorate, I did everything my parents asked of me.
You was like, all right, I'm gonna go do my thing.
Right. So I took a year to figure it out, and then I remember I hit all my friends, and I was like, hey, I'm moving to LA in 2 weeks. It was like, yeah, okay. I was like, I bet. I was
like it wasn't real? Like they didn't believe?
They didn't really believe it because I moved to LA 2 weeks after my birthday, so everybody didn't really believe me. I was like, yeah, I'm moving to LA in 2 weeks. Okay, yeah, okay. I was like, my going away dinner's tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Only 3 people showed up.
Oh, dang.
On my mama, only 3 people showed up because nobody believed me. They were like, yeah, no, okay, yeah, like you moving to LA, I bet. I could tell you the 3 people who showed up. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put them out there like that. But 3 people showed up. Goodbye dinner, bet. I moved to LA. 2 months later, I'm working with Neo.
So how did that come together? Was it
Diesel?
Okay, yeah. That makes sense to connect.
Yeah, because think about it. So Diesel...
Because wait, wasn't B doing like a lot of work with...
No, it wasn't even that. So Diesel was Major's manager, but then Diesel also managed Neo Studio.
Okay.
And then they needed a digital person. And at this point, he's like, hey, I don't know if this is you, but I think this is you.
Yeah.
And like the first proposal I submitted to Neo, they said no. Yeah, it was not rocking with it. They wanted to work with a big agency, and it was just me. And they're just like, yeah, nah.
So how did you kind of show and prove to be like, all right, I'm your person?
I would say it was just like my preparedness when they called me 3 weeks later.
Okay.
Because they had said no, and I was like, oh man, this sucks. I was really disappointed because I put a lot of sweat and work into the proposal that I had sent to them to like work with them. And I was just like, oh man. And the only feedback I got was just like, hey, this was great, but you're not an agency. Go, okay, cool. And then like 3 weeks later, I get a call from Tashawn, Neo's manager, and he's like, hey, where are you? I was just like, oh, I'm at home. I lived in Van Nuys at the time. I was like, I'm at home, just working, Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, how long will it take you to get to Burbank? I said, 15 minutes. He's like, cool. Here's the address. And I was like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, yeah, Neo wants to meet you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Welcome to LA.
All right. So, 2.5 months, 3 months into LA, I was working with Neo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, so, Neo kind of being one of the first, like big mainstream artists that you're working with, how do you transition to working with other artists? Like, how do those relationships come together?
Expand?
Yeah.
It really was word of mouth. Because me working with Neo is one of those things where, like, I wound up doing like other graphic and social work for people like on the side. Because it was like Neo for me was a client.
Okay.
Because we were still defining our relationship. Where it was like, hey, you're good with the internet. I need help with the internet. How do we figure this out? Like, hey, like, cool. All right. Bet.
Problem solver once again.
There you go. Yeah. Olivia Pope. You feel me? So like, how do we figure this out? Okay, bet. But then like on the other side, it was like, I had gotten like contract work from labels because people had saw like the content or the derivative of Neo's content shifting. And the question was like, hey, Tashawn, who you got working on this? Like, oh yeah, Dimplez, this girl, you should just move from Arizona. And they're like, oh yeah, can you connect me? Like, yeah. Okay. And it was just the connect, and that word of mouth grows because when your work is good, word of mouth is crazy.
Yeah.
So like I wound up doing like social overlays. You remember like the big mosaic grids? Like I would cut those by hand. Because there weren't any tools to cut them. So like this how old like there weren't any tools to cut them. So like I would cut those by hand. So like one of the earlier rollouts was like Trey Songz rolling out his album.
Okay.
In a tile. And like that was something I cut.
That's crazy thinking about it now.
Yeah. Now you could just do it. Like there's a mosaic tool or whatever. Like it's an app. No. I spent like 2 hours in Photoshop making sure the sizing was right.
Dang. So basically one of the takeaways is like for sure the network and then the quality of your work.
I feel like the quality of your work will always speak for itself. The network will come with your work.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times now people like to front the network before they do the work.
Yeah, it's like knowing X
it's
amount
like,
of
yeah,
people.
Man, I know Mo Beatz. Mo
Yeah.
Beatz got me, and it's like, yeah, but do you do any work?
Yeah, it's nothing. They don't have anything to back that
Exactly.
relationship. It's
Exactly.
like you should still be dope,
Yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So, working with Neo, started working with other artists, getting stuff going with different labels. At this point, you're doing stuff just under like your agency. Like, yo,
Yeah.
this is my okay.
And word of advice: never do that. Once you start making over $5,000, go get you a LLC.
So wait. So before setting up before setting up the LLC,
People were just paying me directly.
Okay.
And I was being screwed by the tax man.
Okay.
Tax man was eating all my pockets.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once you do the LLC and you got
once you do the LLC,
get some
write
write-offs,
stuff off.
Yeah.
Like,
all of that. So.
I didn't know. No one told me.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's important. Like that's even with me with DJing. Like same thing. Where it was like for a while it was just
everybody's
as an
paying
individual.
you.
Yeah, and it's like you got to turn stuff into a business so you can.
Yeah. But
you
know what the biggest thing was, and I say this is as entrepreneurial as we are as Black people, there's a level of business acumen that we're not all gifted in having. Do you know what I mean? Like,
True.
I don't know where you learned how to do your taxes, but I didn't learn how to do my taxes until I learned how to do them myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and I went to grad school. No class taught me how to do taxes.
Yeah, no.
Do you know? No one taught me financial literacy. Nobody taught me how credit works. That's something I had to figure out.
Oh man,
on
this
my own.
is a whole nother podcast right here. Because
but when it came to the business of it, and we're talking about like working with clients and building up a roster, whatever the case may be, no one actually was like, "Hey, when you start making money, girl." You make over $10,000 because the poverty line is $10K. You make over $10K, we gonna have to get you to LLC because you're gonna be screwing yourself.
But that's the thing when it's like it comes with the experience and it's like now you know, and then we can share this stuff with people who are coming up now and who have no clue.
Yeah.
So like I said, this could be a whole nother podcast,
It
and
really
I actually
could.
want to do one in regards to all of this because it's just something that isn't always talked about. But okay, so you're doing stuff with different artists.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I feel like you've done a lot of different things.
I
So
really
it's like
it's Jill of all trades.
yeah. So it's thinking. So what's the next step? So working with Neo, working with different artists.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting into the Capitol Records days? Give me
There
some
was time
in between.
There was time between working with Neo and the Capitol Records days, which is a very interesting like segue. So it was like I was really trying to figure out if entrepreneurship was for me.
Okay.
Because it's not for everybody.
What was it that was making you kind of like question or
cash flow?
Okay.
It's like the biggest thing. It's like, cool, I have 8 clients today, but in 2 months I only had 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, how do I build my life as a human being around the unsteady cash flow of an independent business?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So there were times where like I would pick up random contracts, and one of the random contracts where I really just solidified that entrepreneurship was for me was actually working with BWR.
Okay.
So BWR is a public relations firm based in Beverly Hills, and based in Beverly Hills, and they had a head of social media. Her name's Claire, super dope lady, who was going on maternity leave, and they were looking for somebody who had understood the cultural nuance of like Black culture, but still didn't necessarily want to be a permanent figure at their company.
Okay.
To kind of come in and hold the wheel while this lady went to go have her baby.
Okay.
And I was like, that sounds like me. Because, and then I went in there, I interviewed with the owners. They loved me. They wanted to offer me like an actual position. And I was like, let's figure this out. Let's figure the 3 months out. When she comes back from maternity leave, let's figure out this is for me. Everyone's nice right now. And what I found out in that time was I can't deal with corporate politics. Not in the way that you would assume I would know how to deal with them.
So I mean, like what specific? Not specifically, but like kind of
like there's a nuances of like there's nuances within any corporation where people are territorial.
Okay.
And I'm one of those people where, I played basketball for a really long time. I ran track for a really long time. So I'm like, I don't care whether you bring the win across the line or I bring the win across the line. We won.
Oh, and is it a situation where people kind of felt threatened because you're getting
it was one of those
done?
It was one of those things where it was like I was doing my job. I was doing my job effectively. And certain publicists on certain projects were like, man, well, how come the client responded to her? And I'm like, who cares? Get it done. Hey. we just need to get this done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like, it was one of those things where it's like, it was a very nuanced time because that was during the rollout of Black Panther, the announcement at Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. That entire cast is Black. I know inherently that cast is going to respond to me as a Black woman than anyone else that was on my team at the time. Okay. But at the same time, it doesn't matter who's bringing the win across the line as long as we're all winning. Yeah. If you need a response, hey, I'm going to hit them right now. Hit them right now. We got the response. Here goes your response. Boom. Man, how come they didn't hit me back when I sent that question 2 days ago? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. But within that dynamic, I remember I had a heart-to-heart with the owner because the owner's a white guy from South Africa. Okay. Had a heart-to-heart with the owner, and I was like, this is the obstacle that I'm coming across. And I remember having the discussion with him. He's like, I love that you have the emotional intelligence to capture the fact that this is an issue, but I want you to understand that this is not something that you can actually fix. Okay. He's like, it's something you have to understand, be mindful of, but as long as you keep doing your job, it's not an issue for you to resolve. It's one for me to fix. Because, he's always like, it's one for me to intervene. Yeah. And I was like, no, I hear you. So at the end of the 3 months when old girl came back and they're like, hey, do you want to stay? I was like, nah. Yeah, because you realize, this isn't where I'm trying to be. One, it wasn't where I was trying to be. But two, if you're territorial about, I don't know if you remember, that Black Panther announcement was huge. Yeah. For the Black community. Yeah. What? We got a superhero and everybody's Black? What? Yeah. And not to be able to take pride in that because of like sensitivity, that felt weird to me. I don't want to have to be in an environment for that. But the one thing I did take from that experience was you're really good at what you do. It takes being in different, like up until then I had worked in music. And there I'm working on Suicide Squad, Black Panther, $1 Million Matchmaker. I'm working with John Taffer of Bar Rescue. I'm working with like the networks. Yeah. And I'm crushing it. But like, I wasn't even able to enjoy me crushing it because I'm worried about like the racial dynamic of like the win. Mm. Do you know what I mean? But like the takeaway from all of that, and I love that company, I always wish them the best and they went on to succeed and be great. Was just kind of like, I didn't get to enjoy that win of crushing it. Like this Nigerian girl who went to school in Arizona, running socials for Suicide Squad. What?
But so of course when you switch it and be like, all right, like I just gotta, keep doing my thing, because then of course you're in control of, I feel like for the most part, what's going on. Yeah. It's like you don't have to worry about somebody else like feeling a type of way about you accomplishing certain things. Yeah. Like, yeah. So that was a big thing. You made the right decision.
Yeah. So like, in not staying in, everyone's like, man, I remember my mom trying to explain it to my mom was crazy. Because then this is also the point in my life where like, after BWR, I don't know your background specifically per se, but like I come from a working class family. Mm-hmm. Like I can tell you what my dad made in a year. Okay. Right? And that was the time in my life where post BWR, I was now making twice what my dad made in a year. Mm. Wow. Which is a very like a scary place to be. Okay.
Like how so like scary in what sense? Like,
because we're not taught what to do with that kind of money.
Another podcast, I swear. I swear.
Like, we're not like, what do I do with this? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so like I became one of those people where like my money was going into my account and I just gave my mom my card because I didn't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? Like
I get it. I
didn't know what to do with them. Like, what am I supposed to do? What? Yeah. Like, because I remember filling out, we fill out the FAFSA and you write down what your parents make. I was making twice what my parents made. I didn't know what to do.
Man.
Like, so, like,
Crazy.
but so like one, I'm trying to figure out how to navigate post this experience with working with networks back into music in a way where I love. But two, I'm making money that I don't understand.
Okay.
And then three, I'm realizing that being web services is not me. Do you know what I mean? Like, up until then, I was low-key tech support. Do you know what I mean? Like, a low-key tech support. I have artists in China. Hey, Dimplez, yeah, no, so my iCloud isn't working. What's going on? Did you call Apple?
What was it that made you realize, be like, all right, this is really not?
Because I think in working with the networks, I got to do a little bit of the creative.
Okay.
So, like, talking about the Black Panther announcement, when Lupita Nyong'o and Denai Guerrera and Chadwick are San Diego Comic-Con, we're talking about the reveal of them, like, being together preceding the announcement that Black Panther is coming, right? How do we capture this moment? How do we take the pictures? What needs to be, how do we message this? I'm operating in real time. And I remember like doing a debrief with my direct report at that time. Like, he's like, how could we have made this better? And I'm like, man, we really should have had a 360 camera. And like, I was like, we could have blown this up in this way. And he's like, those are great ideas. Next time, bring that up before an event. And I was like, wow, my mind is built for strategy.
Okay.
My mind is built for strategy in a different way because I recognize how it is that I would like to consume something. And I recognize how people within my age demo would like to consume something. And it's not being delivered that way.
Yeah, so once again, it kind of goes back to that, the solutions.
Yeah.
Like, how can we, like, better this, or what went wrong? Like, how can, so that's a major thing, and I feel like in what you have going on.
Yeah.
Just finding solutions.
Yeah.
Like, that's definitely the vibe.
Yeah, okay.
So,
the vibe.
Okay, so crazy. So let's fast forward a little bit more. What's the next move after this?
I'm back indie.
Okay.
I'm back indie, running my business, picking up clients. Still working with Neo. Neo's a client this entire time.
Okay.
Still working with Neo, and he's empowering me more.
Okay, so more responsibilities.
More responsibilities, more trust, more forward thought as it relates to the strategy.
Okay.
For him, we roll out the release of his album. First 2 singles go platinum.
Tight.
Digital campaigns.
Tight.
I'm like, so I'm sitting here like, plaque me, baby. Like, plaque me up. Plaque me up.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, now I went from having the idea that strategy was where my mind was at, from being empowered by somebody else to run the strategies that I had in mind, to now reveling in the result.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, if you look at like the history of my life and my career, very pivotal moments have come from older Black men empowering me to run.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like, cause like it's weird, cause it's like I'll sit and I'll talk to Neo, we'll have a conversation. I'll be like, man, you know this is all low key because of you. And he's like, man, I saw it day one. Like,
and it's like them seeing that potential and be like, oh damn, okay, you got this idea.
You got this.
Idea.
Yeah,
oh, man.
run it.
Like, go ahead. Like, turn up.
Because not everybody does that. Like, I've been in situations where like executives will see that, hey, I have this and this idea, and they'll kind of shudder because they're cool with status quo. But like here too, like Smoking Section was pivotal for me. Neo was pivotal for me. Major was pivotal for me.
He gave you that room.
Diesel
to
was
do
pivotal
you.
for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you gave me that room, the trust, because you're like, yo, you may not have it all figured out yet, but I feel like if I give you the space, you're gonna run and kill it. And that's exactly what happened every time. So I'm indie again. I'm picking up more clients. I'm amassing clients in a way where I'm like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is really, really cool. Now, Compound has an office. Neo's label, Compound, has an office at the Capitol Records building. Okay. So I'm going there every once in a while, like whatever, building up clients, building up a network, working. I want to say a few months later, I get a call from Neo's label digital person. She's leaving to go back to New York. Family emergency. Hey, before we put this position public, do you want to come in-house?
Like, what were your thoughts when you got that call?
I was like, I'll take the meeting.
Okay.
Like, I'll take the meeting. She's like, bet. Send me your resume. And, like, let's see if HR gives you a call. Yo, okay. Send them my resume. HR calls me the next day. Hey, when can you come in to meet? I was like, yeah, I mean, like, I live 10 minutes away from the Capitol building. Like, yeah. Anytime. Like, she's like, yeah, just come in. I was like, okay. I go in. I meet the HR team. I leave. I don't know how it went. She calls me by the time I get home. Hey, the heads of digital want to meet with you. I go, okay. When do you want to meet? Can you come in on Friday? Yeah, bet. So I go back in. I go in and the heads of digital already know me because I run Neos Digital and they were Neos Digital people.
Okay, yeah. So
they're like, we didn't know this was you because on the resume is my government name and everybody knows me as Dimplez.
Yeah.
So they're like,
clicked once you came.
They're like, what are you doing here? I was like, I'm your 2 o'clock. Like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Surprise.
Hi. They're like, yeah. So we're not really worried about you doing the job. Like, we know you know how to do it. Why do you want to come in-house? And I'm like, I've never done it before.
Okay. Yeah.
And like, shout out to Meredith and Josh because I don't know how they dealt with me through that interview. But like, they're like, yeah, why do you want to come at Turner? I'm like, I've never worked at a label before. Like.
Hey, honestly, just keep it in 100.
That'd be cool. That'd be kind of cool. And like, and that kind of went well. And I remember I got a call from Zeke. Zeke was head of A&R for Motown at the time. And like, cause I was on his thing too. And it said, my government name. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, is this Dimplez? He's like, you're my meeting? You got questions or something? And I'm like, nah. He's like, all right, I'll see you Monday. Hung up the phone. I was like, so did I just get the job? Like,
I mean, once again, it that again goes back to the network and your actual work.
Because at the end of the day, like I just told you, the 2 Neo singles went platinum. Mm-hmm. So Zeke's like, do you have questions?
Yeah. Because clearly, I mean, you can put in the work. So it's like, all right.
Like, what are we talking about? Okay, bet. Hung up the phone. And then how I really found out I got the job, and I know he's going to be mad because I'm going to say it anyway. Tashawn shoots me a text. He's like, yo, congratulations. Because I didn't tell Neo I was interviewing.
Okay.
I just interviewed, like, there's nothing to tell unless I get anything, you know. Tashawn shoots me a text. He's like, hey, congratulations. I go, for what? He's like, I know you haven't got the call yet, but you're about to.
And then 2 minutes later, the phone rings.
The phone rang a day later.
Okay.
But they sent me an offer, and like at this point, in just having my business and stuff, like my entertainment lawyer looked over the offer, because I think probably one of my biggest concerns were I had clients now on the management side. Okay. And it's like, how do I navigate going internal at a label
and making sure nothing conflicts? Yeah.
I don't lose my equity in my clients.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the way management works, I'm going to pour into you for 3-4 years before you see a semblance of profit.
Yeah. That's real.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and in that time, it's not always going to be pretty.
Yeah.
But like, I would hate for like a client that I've poured 3 years, 2.5, 3 years into, for me to leave them and then like, oh man, what you did is great. And then it's multi-million-dollar deal that I just missed out on.
Yeah.
But I put in the groundwork with you.
So was that something that you had to like change contractually, or was it already like cool where it's like, all right, I can still have my clients and we still do what we do?
It really just boiled down to what my services entailed as it related to the client. So if it was anything consulting on the marketing or the digital end, that was a conflict of interest. I had to dead it. But like the clients I managed, I was managing Ye, I was managing Fuax. Okay. Universal doesn't offer management.
Okay, so yeah, so as long as nothing that's that's conflicting. Okay, tight. I was looking at the time and I'm like, we definitely going for a little while.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no, it's super good. But I wanted to say, one, say if there's any people out there who watching right now who trying to kind of do what you're doing or what you've done, maybe like 2 tips, like, you know what I'm saying, like tips for success, like whatever you think.
The first tip for success is always be authentically and unequivocally you.
Okay.
I think probably one of my biggest saving graces is that I never fit in.
Okay.
I think, and it's so weird because it's like I have these random. My mom is like my best friend, by the way. Okay. Sorry, you my other best friend, but mama number one. Okay. But I have these random conversations with my mom because it's like I'm hyper aware of who I am as a human being, as a person in the space that I am, whatever. I'm 6'1" Nigerian black woman. My voice is deep, right? I'm not small. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, like, I've always felt like if I was smaller or blended in a little bit easier, I wouldn't be where I am because my demeanor wouldn't match. Right? Or the fact that I don't look like a video girl left me off of a lot of invites, which allowed me to spend more time building my craft. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, but being authentically me, never trying to be that, allowed me to get here. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's advice number 1. So be authentically you.
Boom. Be you.
Be number you. 1. Like, number 1. And number 2 would be don't quit. I remember it's so weird because it's like I have interns who are like learning graphic design now, and they'll send me their mock-ups. They're like, hey, is this good? And I'll be like, no, it sucks. The truth is you're gonna suck for a long time until you don't.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you when the moment that you don't is, but like you're gonna suck. You're gonna suck for a very long time until you don't.
You're gonna look up like, oh man,
and then you're gonna wake up one day and be like, wow, I'm cold.
Yeah.
And the idea is, if you quit, you never reach the moment in which you're cold.
Yeah, that's
so
real.
Just don't quit.
That's real. Be yourself. Don't quit.
Yeah.
That's the vibes.
Yeah.
You know the vibes.
Yeah.
So look, real quick, where can people find you at on social media? How can they follow you and keep up with you? Yeah.
Dimplez on everything. Dimplez.
Boom.
There you go.
There it is.
One word. I'm like, share.
Yeah. Scratchin the Service Podcast. Dimplez in the building. Definitely appreciate you coming through, and make sure y'all follow her
anytime.
Yeah.